My name is Rajshekhar Vyas. I was born in 1956 on 2nd January in the city of Lakes, Udaipur. लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की हार कभी नहीं होती. No regrets, no difficulties. Life is good and I'm enjoying it to the full. Times have changed. Knowledge is changing very, very fast. Technology has really changed everything in everyone's life. So, if you think that what you have learned in your college you can survive in teaching only with that knowledge, I think it's not going to happen. You have to become a student yourself. You have to upgrade your knowledge. You have to learn new technologies. Then only you can be a good teacher. My name is Rajshekhar Vyas. I was born in 1956 on 2nd January in the city of Lakes, Udaipur. My subsequent education in schooling was in different parts of Rajasthan because my father was in a transferable job. Uh, I then did my graduate engineering. After my schooling, I went to BITS Pilani to do my BTech in mechanical engineering, and that was life transforming experience for me. The exposure, the diversity of students, the new learning, that was just amazing, and that has changed my life. After my engineering, I went to Chandigarh to do my masters in business administration, and in the campus I was selected by Tata Group, one of the Tata Group companies, Voltas Limited, as management professional, and that is where my professional life started. Actually, in professional life, no downs. I was doing quite well in Tata Group. I was working in their international projects division. At a very young age, I was sent abroad for handling one of the projects in Indonesia, and that gave me tremendous exposure to what's happening in the world. And when I joined Tata Group, I had actually lived in Rajasthan, BITS Pilani, and Chandigarh. So working in Bombay itself was a big learning. One thing I realized in Bombay was everyone is equal and everyone is your friend and everyone is living his life. Similarly, I had a great exposure to professional friends. A lot of them working with Tata Group, others working for Hindustan Lever, Colgate. We had a group where we used to discuss businesses, economy, and multiple things. So all these created great opportunity for me to learn. And for the project I was handling in Tata, I had to go and report to one of the director who was of Tata Sons, and that gave me an opportunity to visit and spend some time in famous Bombay House, headquarters of Tata's, where I saw most of the stalwarts of Tata Group that time, Tulsi Modi, Farooq Kavrana, Malgaonkar, Ajit Kerkar, I think almost everyone, including JRD. So, it was an humbling experience to see these people, hear them, and handle international projects for Tata Group was a matter of pride. So, all was good till 1988. That is when, as I'm born in Rajasthan, there is something in our blood that job is not our destiny. And then I thought business is something I had to try out. I had a group of friends who were from Udaipur and living with me in Mumbai. They started leaving Mumbai one after another to set up their own businesses. And I thought that I'm the last one left. So I decided to quit Tata Group after working for 10 years. That was my first and last job. It was easy to leave Tata's, but it was difficult to find a living for yourself after that. Electronics was just coming up in that period, and there was a big hype about electronics industries and electronics businesses. So I started studying about electronics industry, and I found most of the companies or small manufacturers were all located in Delhi. So with heavy heart, I decided to leave Mumbai and shift to Delhi if I had to become an entrepreneur. So my next phase of life of being an entrepreneur started, and this period is from 19 1988 to 2008. Next 20 years, I was an entrepreneur businessman. Shifted to Delhi, started surveying what electronic products I can do. I became advisor to Ericsson to promote their international marketing, which was my experience in Tata's. And for some work, I visited Africa, Uganda, which was just liberated from Idi Amin, and new democratic group had taken over the reign in Uganda, President Museveni. He had just taken over. I was very impressed when I read in the newspaper and saw him on the TV when I was in Uganda that he has gone to England, to Canada, to India to request Indians who had left Uganda to come back to India, to Uganda, invest, and he would give all support, return all his properties. So I thought this is a place which is favoring Indians and he needs Indians. So I started talking to one or two local groups to do some businesses. And after first meeting, I came back to India. And suddenly, after 2 months, I got a frenetic call from Uganda asking my partner to come to Uganda immediately because President of Uganda wanted to see me. I did not believe because I had not met even President of India even once. So being invited I was surprised. But it was an opportunity, so I flew down to Uganda and with my partner I went to his office where he had some ministers sitting. Elections were just coming up and he wanted to get elected in the next term and he wanted his message to reach the entire population of Uganda. Most 90% of them were not reading newspapers. TVs were very expensive. I am talking of 1990. So he wanted me to know how can India help or someone from India help in reaching his communication and message to the masses. And during the discussion, we came up with an idea of radio as a means to reach masses. But then he said hardly anyone has radios in Uganda. So we proposed the government should buy radios and distribute free to the population so that his message can go. He had another question. Ugandans or all Africans are fond of music. They will listen to music and not hear my message. So we designed a radio in India which had only one channel and that was President Museveni's channel. Because it was free, they all started listening to his message. My first order from Uganda through President of Uganda was for 5 lakh radios. It was a huge opportunity. Then I realized I do not have so much of money to manufacture and buy. So I requested him that I have no money. I have less money. My partners can invest. So he kindly decided to send an advance, which then I created, tied up with 5 factories in Delhi to start making radios. In about 2 years' time, we completed. So that's how I became. I continue to do business in Uganda. I set up a factory for electronics there. I have a distribution network in 7 countries in Africa from Uganda. So that is the second part of my life. Tata's and entrepreneur. And then comes 2008. When I was doing business in Uganda, I had a close friend by the name Jitendra Ranawat. We were more like brothers, playing golf together, visiting pubs, visiting bars, traveling internationally. He had international business based from Malaysia, and so everything was good. And suddenly in 2001 we heard the bad news that his only son, who was studying in New York, died in a vehicle crash. Only child, you can understand the plight of father and mother, and the father could not take this burden on him and this pressure on him and this agony with him. And a year and a half later, he also had a heart attack and he died in 2003. His wife, a courageous lady, she said, whatever had happened to my life has happened. But now let's do something in their memory. And we kept discussing, what should we do? He was also from Udaipur like I am. I'm born in Udaipur, though did not live much before 2008. So we decided to set up this institute in memory of Navdeep, the son's name, Jitendra, father's name, Ranawat Charitable Foundation. That is what we formed in 2003. Courage of this lady can be really gauged by the fact that generally Rajput women do not move out of their house for first 12 days. On 6th day of his death, husband's death, she forced me to go to registrar of charitable institutions and go and register this foundation. So after 6 days of the death of Jitendra Ranawat, we registered Navdeep Jitendra Ranawat Charitable Foundation, and then decided that we should open an engineering college in their memory because his son was doing engineering in New York. And that's how Techno India NGR Institute of Technology came in the existence in 2008. That's where my third phase of life of being an educationist started. I was a professional, then I was an entrepreneur, and now I was an educationist. Only thing I knew about education was what we had studied at BITS Pilani, or what we had learned in Tata's, or what I had learned from my experience as an entrepreneur. When I came to Udaipur, there was few other engineering colleges, and I realized that students here are not dreaming big, though they have tremendous caliber. This caliber can be really seen by the fact that I think Kalpit Vaya was the topper in IIT, and after that also we had multiple good students coming out. But students who remained in Udaipur, they did not dream big. Their dream of a job was somewhere in Udaipur, nearby areas, and life was okay. And then I realized that we have to have a different pedagogy of teaching so that students are prepared at a global level. And that was our main vision and a mission, that we will focus on Udaipur students, train them, teach them to become an engineer which is acceptable in global companies. This is the process we have been making students undergo for 4 years when they are with us. When we were at BITS Pilani or later education, I realized that industries or corporate companies also function as colleges, in the sense that they take freshers, train them, and make them a suitable employee or suitable professional as per their needs. But unfortunately, when 2008 I came to academics, I realized industries are becoming colleges, but colleges are not becoming industries. And this was the biggest problem why students do not get a job in global companies or do not succeed in professional life. So one of the focus for us was, this is a college, but this is also an industry where innovation, incubation, and industry work would take place. And that is the focus we carry for 4 years when students are with us. So what are the key things which students have to learn when they join as a professional in a company? First thing is long working hours. If college students are spending 2 or 3 hours in the college, 4 years later they cannot find it comfortable to spend 8 to 10 hours in the company. Second is professionalism, discipline, leadership qualities, communication skills, and more than that, problem solving skills, which comes basically from what we call as life skills. So the focus here is we align this institute to the industry as much as possible. And the result of all this process is number of incubation and innovative projects coming out of this college. And that has been our success. It's not a pure academic college where only theory is taught or emphasis is on academics. From year one, students start working on projects which are industry aligned. They start interacting with the society members, Chamber of Commerce's, come out with problem statements, find a solution to them, and possibly in the process come out with an innovative idea and go for incubation or startup. This has been philosophy Talking of sacrifices, I think whatever sacrifices or difficult times I had to see was during my early entrepreneurial days, where I used to travel to Africa for 50 days, 60 days with a bag in hand, go to various parties, uh, generate businesses. Though I got a good start, but then to continue businesses, I had to do it. From the time I've started college, I've started enjoying my life. I realized that this was my passion and it was missing in my life. So I don't feel tired, though I work for 8, 10, 12 hours, sometimes more. But since I'm enjoying every moment of my life nowadays, I won't say writing the destiny of students here, but helping them in writing their destiny. This is the biggest reward and happiness that I have. So, no regrets, no difficulties. Life is good and I'm enjoying it to the full. My role model, of course, I have learned from multiple people throughout my journey as a professional, as an entrepreneur. A lot of people helped me in life and I always remember them. But then my role model has been my father. Because I think for every child he is a role model. For me, more specifically, because the life I lived and life he lived are very different. He was from a poor family. He came to Udaipur. He went to a dharamshala. He was working there, cleaning up the rooms and other things so that he could get free food and free stay. And in the night, he used to study law. And then he taught RJS and then he retired as Justice in Rajasthan High Court and chairman of multiple commissions. So his life has been a role model for me, and that inspired me to do more for students. I had another experience in my early life when I was going to BITS Pilani. I met another boy from the same city of Siroi where my father was posted. He was fourth rank holder in Rajasthan board, and he also got admission in Pilani, and he wanted to come with me. His name was Gulab Mali. But then on the last day he came to me that he is not coming because he could not organize 1,400 rupees of fees for BITS Pilani. My father helped him and he went to BITS Pilani. Today he is the chief engineer of Irish Railways in Ireland. Because of this very small help of a student, his life, his family's life, his brothers, sisters, everyone is at a different place. His son is and daughter both studied in America and are doing professionally well. I have multiple examples. My father is one, Gulab Mali is another one. There are multiple examples I have seen in my life where given a support for good education can change their life completely. Helping someone with money can help them in some way, but helping them in good education can help their entire life. So this has been my biggest learning, and that's how I find my father a role model. Peter Drucker somewhere said when asked what is the best management style or a leadership style, he said that comes naturally to you. So I am what I am. Of course, there are a lot of things which you have to learn by reading about other leaders, about their life journey, how they have succeeded. You learn in bits and pieces multiple things. But copying someone's leadership style, anyway, it doesn't work for anyone. So I have never tried to do that. I remain what I am. I face a lot of challenges and problems because of my leadership styles. But then you have to live with it. But I like to be what I am. And I want to be a leader which I'm born the qualities with. So yes, minor changes I do. I learn, modify my own way of working, but otherwise it's a natural style. See, education is the foundation for everyone's life. Good education exposes you to what is available in the world. It gives you a basic bearing for the life. But then education does not replace experience. A lot of people have not undergone education, but they are very successful. But if you see, that used to happen in maybe 50, 70 years back. Today, most of the successful people are educated because that is what gives you the exposure. So both are important. Education by itself does not guarantee any success. Education with good life skills guarantee you success. So Background is important. So like a foundation in a building has to be strong. Then you can build whatever you want. But pure foundation does not take you anywhere. You have to make a beautiful building on that. And that comes from experience as well as your desire to succeed. Passion and empathy is the first thing a teacher is supposed to have. Because if he cannot have a passion for teaching, he is doing it as a job, he will never be a successful teacher. Just because of a living, if you are become a teacher, you will remain a teacher, never a great teacher whom students would remember. So, passion for teaching and empathy with the students. You understand students' problem. You are not teaching to learn for yourself. You are teaching for others to learn. And next very important thing, I'm talking of teaching community, and then I'll come to those who want to set up educational institutes. So this one is specifically focused for teachers. Second thing is, times have changed. Knowledge is changing very, very fast. Technology has really changed everything in everyone's life. So if you think that what you have learned in your college, you can survive in teaching only with that knowledge, I think it's not going to happen. You have to become a student yourself. You have to upgrade your knowledge. You have to learn new technologies. Then only you can be a good teacher and whom students would respect. And otherwise, it is going to happen that students would know more than you because they are more aligned to new technologies and you are still living with your old knowledge and old technology. So that is the message for want to be teachers. For those who want to set up educational institute, I think you should do it not as a business. You should do it only if you have a passion for doing good for the students. When you want to do it purely for business, you would not be doing the right thing for the students. Like all the families that grew in mid-50s, we also had a very large family circle of cousins. And the best thing in our life in those years, I'm talking of 1960s, when I was about 5-7 years old, up to 70 when I was about 15-17, the best memories we have was to spend 2.5-3 months with our grandparents in Panchwati, Udaipur. We were about 10 cousins. All of us would meet at Udaipur and live here for 2.5-3 months and enjoy our life. You will be surprised to note, हम लोग छत पे सोते थे and पंखे उन दिनों में नहीं हुआ करते थे और छतों पे उदयपुर में पंचवटी में हम रजाई ओढ़ के सोते थे. That was the weather, that was the environment, and the best destination that time was Sehliyon ki Badi, a kilometer from my house, Fateh Sagar, another kilometer, and mostly Mohta Park. Mohta Park was a beautiful place, and they used to have a government library where we could read comics and multiple books. And that, I think, is my best childhood. As I told you, I have 3 lives: as a professional in Tata, as an entrepreneur, and now as an educationist. Given a choice between these 3 or any other choices, I would like to be reborn as an educationist. All others were my professional lives. This is what my heart is, where my heart is. This is my passion. If there is any passion next to spending time with students, molding their career, making them successful, is golf. I've been playing golf for the last 30 years. When I was in Delhi or Mumbai, I used to play almost every day. I've been in the corporate golf, Microsoft Corporate Golf Tournament in 2005. I was the runner-up. My trophy is there, finalist. So, golf is my second passion, and that is what I miss in Udaipur. I love everything about Udaipur, but what I miss is not having a golf course. Though there is a small golf course which Army has made in Eklingar, Kent, and this Sunday I'm going to play there. So, but it's not a full-fledged 18-hole course. So whenever I go to my house in Delhi, where my family lives, first thing I do is to go and play golf. So that's my leisure activities, and other activities which all of us enjoy in the evenings, partying sometimes. But that I'm getting less and less time for that nowadays. I think few things which were good during COVID-19 times is that we became human. We realized that we have food, but someone else does not have a food. I haven't seen so many people coming out and serving the society by serving food and other necessary things to poor people. I think it was at an unprecedented scale. From our college, we were distributing about 200 packets of food every day. I mean, I personally have been against giving anything to beggars because I find that they can work and earn. But that those negative thinkings about someone who needs your help had gone away in COVID-19. So one was the best thing is that the best of human mind and human heart came out in COVID-19 of helping each other. You became closer to family, you found time for yourself. Professionally speaking, if I have to talk about education system, there has been one very, very positive thing. See, worldwide, a lot of education or substantial education is through internet or online. Last 4 years, 5 years, we have been trying to make students learn online, do online courses, internet based education, but it was not picking up. COVID has changed everything. Where possibly in terms of student enrollment for online classes we could not reach with our efforts in next 5 years, we reached in 2020. Now students are very comfortable learning by themselves. See, the advantage of online is it's called learning by yourself. Colleges are teaching by teachers and then learning. Online courses is basically learning yourself. And this helps us in the new system in college. We had started a year back, 2 years back, of flipped classroom, that we ask students to study the chapter by themselves and come for discussion next day with teachers rather than teacher teaching them the subject. So now that flipped classroom style is working very well because students have learned to learn by themselves. So learning by themselves is the biggest positive in education industry. See, I think this college has been focusing on digital transformation in the last 3-4 years, and obviously because of digital transformation a lot of stress has been on computer science and IT courses. We have tied up with multiple leaders in this area, IBM, Red Hat, Oracle. All these companies are offering multiple courses to technical students. So focus area for us for next few years is going to be in the field of IT and computer science. We prepare students who can really compete with the best of the world. And that's the reason sitting in Udaipur, studying in Udaipur, some students have got a job in Google. Some students from this college have got job in Facebook, in Qualcomm, in Intel, in Nvidia. All these are cutting edge technology companies. Because, as I told you, we have created an ecosystem and substantiated and supported by the suitable infrastructure for such teaching. Like we have our own cloud. We have almost everything that in terms of software, anything that is needed in artificial intelligence and related technologies. We have already established a virtual reality lab. So everything we have established here. We have tied up with the leaders in the industry. So students can really sit in Udaipur, spend 4 years in the cozy comfort of their parents, because eventually they have to live all their life outside the house. So these 4 years they can be with their parents, but not compromising on quality of education. Sitting in Udaipur, you become capable of getting a job in Facebook, Google and Qualcomm. That is what our focus is. My favorite poem is by Harivansh Rai Bachchan. लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की हार कभी नहीं होती. That's a very inspiring poetry by Harivansh and I love that. I hope you enjoyed my story, multiple phases of my life, and I hope it helps you in dreaming big and working hard to live that dream into a reality. And if it inspires you, you would like to connect to me, please visit this platform. You can meet me, ask me questions, interact with me on this platform, and I'll be very, very happy to help you, answer you, and advise you to the best of my capabilities. Thank you very much for listening to me. Take care, be good, be happy, live your life, enjoy your family life. All the best.
दोस्तों, ये थी एक ऐसी शख्सियत की कहानी जो उम्र और तजुर्बे दोनों में काफ़ी बड़े हैं। आज इन्होंने अपने काम से अपनी एक अलग ही पहचान बनाई। इन्होंने अपनी कहानी में शुरुआत से लेकर अभी तक के हर यादगार किस्से का जिक्र किया, जिसे बेशक आप सभी ने बड़े ही गौर से सुना होगा। 2 जनवरी 1956 को झीलों की नगरी उदयपुर में जन्मे। पिता की काम के दौरान कई अलग अलग जगह ट्रांसफ़र हुए, तो ऐसे में किसी एक निश्चित क्षेत्र की बजाय राजस्थान के अलग अलग क्षेत्रों में रहकर इन्होंने अपनी शिक्षा पूरी की। स्कूली शिक्षा के बाद बिट्स पिलानी से बीटेक किया। मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग की पढ़ाई पूरी करने के बाद चंडीगढ़ गए अपनी मास्टर्स कंप्लीट करने के लिए। उस वक्त जब टाटा ग्रुप द्वारा नौकरी के लिए इनका चयन किया गया, तो वो इनके प्रोफेशनल करियर की एक बेहतरीन नई शुरुआत थी। उस वक्त काम के सिलसिले में अब्रॉड भी गए और मुंबई में रहकर भी काफ़ी वक्त तक काम किया। तो दोस्तों, हर नए वक्त ने इन्हें काफ़ी कुछ नया सिखाया और ऐसे कई किस्से इन्होंने हमारे साथ साझा किए, जिनमें से एक किस्सा था जब इन्हें मौका मिला था युगांडा के प्रेसिडेंट से मिलने का। और युगांडा के प्रेसिडेंट के साथ इनकी वो जो मुलाकात थी, वो हमेशा के लिए यादगार बन गई। जब इन्होंने इंडिया में रेडियो डिज़ाइन किया और प्रेसिडेंट की बात को रेडियो के ज़रिए हर शख्स तक पहुंचाया, आवाम तक पहुंचाया, तो वो दिन आज भी इनकी बेहतरीन यादों में शुमार है। एक लंबे वक्त तक टाटा ग्रुप के साथ काम करने के बाद इन्होंने 1988 में अपना बिजनेस भी शुरू किया और पिछले कई वक्त से ये एजुकेशन फील्ड से जुड़े हैं। जी हाँ दोस्तों, वर्तमान में टेक्नो इंडिया NGR कॉलेज के फाउंडर हैं, डायरेक्टर हैं और आज ये अपने इस पूरे जीवन में इसे एक बेहद अच्छा अवसर मानते हैं। शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में आने के बाद इन्होंने ये महसूस किया कि ये क्षेत्र ही इनके लिए सबसे बेहतर है और इनका मानना है कि वक्त बदल गया है और ज्ञान बहुत ही तेज़ी से बदल रहा है। नई प्रौद्योगिकी, नई टेक्नोलॉजीज़ ने भी वास्तव में हर किसी के जीवन में सब कुछ बदल कर रख दिया। इसीलिए अगर आपको भी इस क्षेत्र में आगे बढ़ना है, तो सबसे पहले आपको एक अच्छा छात्र बनना होगा, अपने ज्ञान को उन्नत करना होगा, विकसित करना होगा, नई तकनीकों को सीखना होगा। जी हाँ, तभी आप एक अच्छे शिक्षक बन सकते हैं और इस क्षेत्र में रहते हुए आगे बढ़ सकते हैं और अपनी एक अलग पहचान कायम कर सकते हैं। तो दोस्तों, आज इन्होंने अपनी इस कहानी के जरिए उन सभी को जो शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं, उन्हें एक अच्छा मैसेज देने की कोशिश की है। तो दोस्तों, ये थी हमारी आज की कहानी, जिसे सुनने के बाद बेशक आप भी अपने जीवन में सकारात्मक बदलाव ज़रूर लाएंगे और अगर शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में आगे जाना चाहते हैं तो अपने ज्ञान को और अधिक विकसित करेंगे, ऐसा हमारा विश्वास है। अगर आप सभी को हमारी आज की ये कहानी पसंद आई हो तो जल्दी से इसे लाइक, कमेंट और शेयर कर दीजिए और आप भी अपनी कहानी जल्दी से हमारे साथ शेयर कीजिए। दोस्तों, हमारे देश में कहानियों का अपना एक अलग ही महत्व है और ऐसी कई कहानियां हैं जो भले ही छोटी है, लेकिन उस कहानी का किरदार दमदार है। तो अब आप भी अपने उस दमदार किरदार को हमारे साथ शेयर करें, हमारी इस पहल में हमारा साथ दें और अपनी कहानी से लोगों को एक नई प्रेरणा दें। तो आइए कीजिए एक नई शुरुआत अपनी ही कहानी के साथ और सबको इंस्पायर कीजिए। जी हाँ दोस्तों, लेट्स इंस्पायर टुगेदर, वी कैन, इंडिया कैन। तो दोस्तों, आज की कहानी में फिलहाल इतना ही। अब इजाज़त दीजिए, जल्द ही लौटेंगे हम आपके पास एक और नई प्रेरणादायक कहानी के साथ। तब तक के लिए बने रहिए हमारे साथ और देखते रहिए दिलचस्प कहानियाँ। नमस्कार।